which are similar to the expectations you probably have for all your virtual sessions, right? Your camera's on. You don't have to have your face right in the camera the entire time, right? I know some people like tilt the camera a little bit so you can see them, right? But maybe you're not staring at their face. That's totally fine. We do most of our communicating in the chat. If you want to speak, you're totally welcome to speak instead. We do have a lot more people this semester in this class, so it might start getting kind of hard to use the chat. We'll kind of see how that goes. And then otherwise, of course, be respectful, and we will get into some conversations later in the semester that might get heated. We'll see. I have a feeling you guys might all pick the same side and then it won't get very heated, but we might. So we will talk more about respect and all that kind of stuff when we get more into those types of topics. So I'm Miss Jamie, for those of you that don't know me, and I am your mentor for this semester. And I'm teaching AVID, which sounds like maybe not the most exciting thing ever, but it's basically the best class ever. You can ask anyone who's already been in AVID how much fun it is. So what we're going to do today is just kind of orient ourselves into AVID here. So first things first, we're going to start with a little warm-up question where you are going to tell me about your spirit animal. What is a spirit animal, you may ask? An animal that you think represents your spirit, right? Doesn't have to be one that like looks like you necessarily, but that you think represents your spirit. So I'll give you a few seconds to think about this. As you think about which animal you think is your spirit animal, go ahead and type it into the chat. Yours is an old man. Oh, we got really cool ones. We have 2 wolves, a goat, a goat, a llama. I'm hearing a llama. I love llamas. I said owl for myself. I see bear, cat, a snake. We could be an entire zoo here, guys. Not even kidding. We have all sorts of animals represented. Another llama. Miss Doll says apparently her spirit animal is an old man playing golf. Is that true? Okay, well, that's good. Not sure if I would consider that an animal, but we'll go with it. Last call for spirit animals here. Ooh, elephant. Are you the elephant in the room, Colton? You like my joke there? Okay. Alpaca. Whoa, we got a lot of like furry, chewy animals here. No one's going to say cow, right? Well, they all chew a lot, right? That's what I envision when I hear llama and alpaca. Paige says chewy as well. They chew a lot. That's what I'm envisioning. Hummingbird. Okay, a swan. Ooh, very elegant, the swan. Okay, so that was just a little, way to get us thinking about ourselves, right? Because the best thing about AVID is it's all about us. So what is AVID? Can we have some people who were in AVID last semester share in the chat a 1-sentence descriptor of what AVID is, in your opinion? And we've got a few people who were here last semester. Giovanna, Jessica, Paige, Logan. Okay. Ooh, I like this, Logan. AVID is for thinking. That's an excellent description. We're going to think about a lot of different things ourselves, what we want to do, right? As well as how do we read better, right? How do we form arguments? How do we analyze what other people's arguments are? Paige says college prep class to some extent, right? We're not going to talk as much about college this semester. Giovanna says getting to focus more into realistic things about the world. Yeah, right? So this is kind of the side of school where we're going to really focus on more than just academics, right? We're going to focus on career and what you want to do, right? Which may be college, maybe not. And really starting to think about yourself and your goals and what you want your life to be about. Applying our learning. Yeah, right? So all the stuff that you learn in all of your subjects, we're going to talk about skills and sort of connections between those things. So AVID stands for Advancement via Individual Determination, right? We're never really going to use that full word. We're just going to use the acronym, or the full words, I guess, because really it is about that individual aspect here. It's about you, and some self-discovery is supposed to happen in this class, and it might not, right? You might get through the whole semester and be like, I learned that my spirit animal's a llama, and that's pretty much where I stayed, and that's fine. Right? You're allowed to be totally honest in this class. If you don't like the class, you're allowed to say that, right? You're not going to offend me. It doesn't mean you're going to get out of the class though, but you can hate it, right? That's fine. You can love it. You can be neutral about it, right? Be honest and really talk about improving the class as well, right? Because I always respond to what you guys say. Last semester, all I heard was how much everyone hated tutorials, which for those of you who are new, were where we together tried to solve really hard math problems or other really hard problems. And it was a lot of us all just kind of being like, we don't know how to do this. And so we got rid of those, right? No tutorials. People really liked some other aspects of the class, so we're going to keep doing those aspects. So a couple things here to kind of start us off in the beginning of the semester. Did you take your STAR tests yet? Let's get a 1 in the chat if you took your STAR tests. Let's get a 2 in the chat if you haven't, but you're going to take them as soon as you can. Whoa, I see an insane amount of 1s and some 2s. Okay, so hopefully this is not the first time you're hearing about the STAR test. If it is, well, I'm glad you're hearing about it now, right? They need to be taken this week. It should take you about 30 minutes for each one, so you could do both in a row, right? You could take one and then wait till tomorrow to take the other one, but you have to get them done by Friday. If you've already taken your test, I should have sent you your score. If you did not get your score yet and you've taken your test, you need to email me, right? That means I probably somehow missed you. When you finish your tests, if you haven't taken them at all, just email me, say, I'm done, and I'm going to send you your scores, right? Ooh, I'm excited to see that. I'm super proud of my scores. Great, you should be, right? Even if you're not where you want to be yet, that's fine. We're going to work and take it again in the spring. I believe we take it in May, I think is when the next one is. Right? So hopefully you'll be able to see some growth there in yourself. Because remember, this is about growth. So that was the first thing, STAR test. Other thing, Trailblazers field trip. I hope you guys saw this in the course itself on the home page. I put important information here, right? I don't usually update it, so pretty much all the important information is there at this point. But it's something useful to read here, right? My email, my phone number's here. The days I'm on campus is here. And course requirements, which are pretty short here, is basically we're going to do the same pattern of work every week. We'll talk about that in a second. We don't have retakes really because this class is a pass-fail, right? So you either do enough work to pass or you don't. We do have virtual sessions. They're probably going to be around 30 minutes each week. Some of them might be a little bit longer. The Zoom link is there, right? You can save that or you can go to the homepage every week. And then excitingly is this Trailblazers thing, which I put under parents because it is a field trip, right? So they have to sign. But if you did get a chance to click on this, you probably already know what you're going to see here. But if you didn't, right, there is a Trailblazers AVID Student Leadership Night, which of course ends in a game, but starts out with actual leadership stuff. So, oh, don't worry, Paige, I'll be answering your question. And yes, Paige, you have to go on the field trip. Just you though, not everyone else.
You're so mean.
Because I want to hang out with you. Okay, so we're gonna go and we're gonna do a speaker panel with jobs in the sports industry. Right? I don't think Giovanni ended up staying in the class, but he was asking me to get sports industry people. Well, here they are, right? That I didn't personally pick, but still, if you're interested in working in the sports industry or just learning even about what kind of jobs there are other than maybe like basketball player, because there's a ton of other jobs, right? That's a cool way to sort of learn about sports industry stuff. We also will have a college fair. Right? If you're interested in colleges, you could look around, get some brochures, find out some information, and a financial literal session. I think that's supposed to be literacy, teaching you about the financial aid process. So if you are going to go to college, how do you get the most money possible? yeah, the goal is always pay the least amount of money for school. Then finally, after all that exciting stuff about career and college, right, then there is the Trailblazers game versus Miami, right, which we can attend. Now, I've had this question that Joelle just asked, can we bring friends, right? I'm going to find out about that. I'm not sure. I think it might depend on how many people are interested in going to this. It's not, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Our parents?
Your parents? I don't know. That's the thing. I'm going to find out if we can bring friends, parents.
What day is it?
That is also a very important question. It is on March 12th, right, which is a Tuesday, March 12th. So I'm going to find out if you can bring friends and parents. My first thought would be probably not, but I'm going to find out because maybe, right? The other thing is basically right now, I just want to see how many people are interested in going, because we want to find out if we're going to take a bus or if we're going to take the Max or how we're going to get there. So if you are interested, I see people just typing me in the chat. That's fine. I see some excitement. Let's see. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. Anybody else interested in going to this? Oh, you're moving out of the state, so you can't. Bummer. Okay, 3 more me, probablys and me's. A probably, that's close enough to a me. Okay, so about 8 people are interested. Of course, you know, if you're saying you're interested right now, you're not committing, right? You can always change your mind. But this is going to be really cool. So the other thing is, down here it talks about the tickets and the pricing. We're going to try to have this be free so that it's totally free for you. Worst case scenario, you can choose between yellow or red level tickets. I think we're probably going to pick the red level ones, which are the higher up ones, because they're cheaper. But we don't have a $10 credit. I don't know what that is. So it would be possibly $15 to $18 each. So I will get back to you guys pretty soon with exactly how much it will cost for you and if you can bring friends or parents. And if you can bring friends and parents, they might have to pay maybe, but you don't, right? So we'll kind of see all the different options. So just keep that in mind that this is coming up next month, right? Basically in about a month. So I'm excited. I think it's going to be really cool. I have never been to a Trailblazers game. I'm trying to think the last time I went to a professional sports event. I went to a Timbers game. And then before that, I think like 5 years before that, I went to an NFL game, which wasn't fun. It was too expensive. So how? Oh, well, my friend has front row Timbers seats. And when he goes out of town or can't go to a game, he lets people who are friends with him have them, which is really nice. You're from New York? I used to live in New York. That's pretty cool. So I'm guessing maybe you went to some Knicks games maybe, right? But anyway, it should be really exciting. Maybe the coolest field trip of the year. And of course we are basically saying this is for Avid, which is a benefit of being an Avid. Don't you love the Rangers? I'm not really into sports, not gonna lie. I didn't even watch the Super Bowl.
The Rangers are a baseball team.
I know, but I'm just giving examples of how I'm not into sports because I didn't watch the Super Bowl.
I didn't know that.
But yeah, no, I don't really like the Rangers or Yankees I don't really care about baseball just at all.
Would be an Astros fan.
But I am really excited to go to a sports game because the energy in sports games is fun, right? Go Cubs. Oh, you're the only girl of 3 boys. Yeah, you probably have to kind of be into sports a little bit to even talk to them. None of your family likes sports? Yeah. My dad is really into sports. He will send me texts all the time. He's obsessed with the Cowboys. So he'll send me texts about them losing all the time. And he's really sad about it usually. But anyway, okay. So Trailblazers, keep in mind if you want to go, right, then info for that will be coming soon, specifically cost and a field trip form and how we're going to get there, etc. So back to Avid, other than cool field trips, right, because that's part of Avid. We also want to talk about organization and success in school and all that other stuff. So abrupt shift. Sorry. No more sports talk. Okay, so a couple things just to get started in semester 2. Canvas calendar, right? Some of us who are new, this may not be, I keep trying to escape and getting out of the chat. This may not be a problem for you, but some of us who are returning may have noticed when you went to look at your Canvas calendar that it was a hot mess and you couldn't see your classes, right? Maybe you couldn't see what was going on, and it was showing you your classes from last semester possibly. So just a little tidbit here about the calendar. First of all, it's annoying. You guys know how I feel about Canvas. If you don't, you'll find out I really have a lot of issues with it. So on your calendar, over here on the right side, you actually have to select what classes you want to show up on your calendar, right? Like right now, mine is completely blank. So if I was looking at this, I would say, oh, look, I have nothing due. Well, that's not true, right? If I start selecting my classes, so for example, I'm teaching biology B, chemistry B, credit recovery, I don't really need those on there, earth science, right? Once I start selecting my classes and getting them on my calendar, then they will actually show up here in the color, right? So that's just the thing. Just double check your calendar, make sure it's actually showing the correct classes. Of course, you can always uncheck those classes as well, right? And they'll go away. So make sure all of your current classes are showing up on the calendar. That would be the first thing. Second thing is, keep in mind, this is showing you the due date, right? This is not showing you when you should start the assignment, how long it's going to take you. It does give you some hints though, right? What does the rocket ship symbol mean? Does anybody know what that means? It means quiz. Good, right? So if you see a rocket ship, you should immediately think, ooh, on this day, I'm going to be taking a quiz, right? Or a test. Are we talking about baseball or football? Well, no more. We're now talking about the Canvas calendar and rocket ships. What about when you see this like notebook paper with a pencil?
It means an assignment, like you have to like participate.
Yeah, exactly. It means an assignment, right? You're writing something, you're going to have to submit a text box, something. Right, and I think there's also a discussion symbol, which looks like a chat box, right? Which might be, I think I have an Avid one at some point. Let's see. Yeah, so the little chat box symbol means discussion, right? So that would mean not only are you going to have to write something, but you probably have to interact with people. Right, so that's just a really quick way to look at the calendar and already kind of see, oh, wow, Fridays look really bad for me because that's when I have all my virtual sessions for science, right? So then I have a ton of stuff due on Fridays because that's what we do in the virtual session. But regardless, I would see, ooh, I have 4 assignments here, I have 2 quizzes here and 2 assignments, etc. So that's helpful to see those symbols, right? The other thing is you want to be thinking about huge assignments that might take you a really long time. So a lot of times your teachers will tell you what those assignments are, right? They'll call them projects or they'll mention them in the virtual session and tell you how important they are. But sometimes it might help to just be kind of looking ahead. Ooh, gas calculations. I don't know, that's a quiz. Let me kind of go look at what that is, right? How many questions is it? Should I do it in one day or am I going to need to study for it? Kind of thinking about what's coming up and how much time those things are going to take you. So I really appreciate everyone's honest reflections during the organization reflection about what you would do if you found out you had a project due tomorrow, right? A lot of people were like, I would freak out, right? But then I would take a deep breath and get started, right? But then this is kind of a way to avoid that. What's coming up? Do I need to be worrying about it right now or can I do it the day it's due? Okay, that's enough about the Canvas calendar. Oh, the glitches. So the last thing is one really known glitch with the Canvas calendar, which some of you have probably experienced, right, is if your teacher puts a grade in for you and you didn't turn something in. So maybe you sent a picture of something to your teacher that you did, right? Or you did a discussion-based assessment with them and you just spoke to them and they gave you a grade for it. It won't go off your calendar unless you turn something in. So if you're noticing stuff on your calendar and you're like, wait, I did that, I have a grade for that, right? You can always just submit something, and your teachers know this, and just say, hey, I turned this in, or I texted it to you, or I did whatever, so that it goes off your calendar, right? Because I know some people want their calendar to look very beautiful, have all the crossed things out, etc. So that is a glitch that exists that for some reason cannot be fixed. So yeah, I know Paige is like, it's on my calendar, it's driving me insane, right? And if you're like that too, just know that doesn't mean you didn't do it. It just means you need to submit something so that it goes away.
And if you think there's a mistake, always email your teacher, because maybe there is.
Yeah, and
You
always
might have gotten a 0 for something you shouldn't.
excellent point, right? Just email your teacher too if you're seeing something that you think is wrong. This looks wrong. I turned this in. Why is this a 0? Of course, don't say
be
that.
accusatory, though. We didn't do it on purpose. We're not out to get you.
My favorite is when
Not to get you.
I'm in a room with teachers, as you can tell.
Hi.
My favorite thing is when someone turns something in and then an hour later they email me, can you grade this right now? And I'm like, so, give a few seconds, but then if it still looks wrong, let us know, right? Because it might be wrong. We make mistakes. Okay, so other thing is attendance, right? How are you getting counted for attendance? If you turn in an assignment, you're counted as here, right? So that could be a really simple assignment. That could be you turning in your Cornell notes for AVID. That counts as you being present. Or if you're talking with a teacher, email, text, phone, or virtual session, right? So you being in this virtual session right now, I'm gonna mark you as here for today. You probably also turned in an assignment. Right, the reason I'm telling you this is because if you're absent for 4 days, meaning that for 4 days you don't turn in an assignment or talk to a teacher or go to a virtual session, you will get a letter sent to your house about how you're not attending school.
It'll be 4 days in a row.
Right, 4 days in a row, exactly. So you want to be thinking about that, right? I know some people have already emailed me, I'm going on a trip, or I'm going to be doing this and I'm not going to have access to a computer for these days, right? Tell us so that we can make plans here for keeping you in school, because you don't want to be getting letters to your house if you're actually attending, right? In other words, you're working on stuff, you're just not turning it in. Okay, so just keep that in mind. That's how we track attendance. That's what we're looking for in order to count you as here. Okay, and then the last thing, the flow of AVID, or you guys have probably already kind of seen this. We do a lot of the same stuff every week. It's a pattern, right? Mondays are usually critical reading days. They're short articles, they're a page, sometimes a page and a half, right? I try to pick interesting ones. I know they're not all interesting. That bird one sounded more interesting than it was, in my opinion. But we will read about a bunch of different topics, right? The point of those readings is to practice critical reading. Identify vocab you don't know and define it. Read through the article thinking about what it's about. Read again, looking for evidence, looking for specific things, statistics, names, evidence that's mentioned. So that is going to happen pretty much every Monday. Tuesdays will usually be a quick write, possibly vocab-oriented work. You guys have already done a quick write, right? Those quick writes are pretty easy. They're mostly goal-oriented or about you, right? What are you doing? What are you thinking? What is this? Blah, blah, blah. So again, those should be quick writes. I'm not looking for beautiful, perfect grammar and punctuation and all that stuff. It's literally you writing for 2 to 5 minutes, as much as you can, and then that's it. We're gonna do our inquiry and collaboration work during these virtual sessions, where we're gonna do something called philosophical chairs, which we'll learn about soon. Socratic seminars. There will be a project where you could work with a person or you could work by yourself, right? So there will be an option there for more collaboration. And then we have these things called AMAs. Does anybody know what an AMA is who wasn't in AVID last semester? Ask me anything. American Music Awards. It also is that, but not in this class. It's an ask me anything, right? It's like a Reddit concept here. So what we do is I basically get my friends and family and people that I know who have jobs that I think could be interesting to people, and we do an AMA with them. So last semester we had one of my friends who builds robots for science labs. We had my friend Mary Jane, who's had like 17 different jobs. I did one about myself and teaching. Who else did we have? I feel like we had one other person. I can't remember now. But regardless, this semester so far, I have a dental assistant, a programmer person who works for Windows Phone, a makeup and beauty product creator. She actually does all the science behind creating like lotions and face masks and all that kind of stuff, and a nurse. So that's who I have so far lined up. And you guys will see, they'll give you a little information about them. You'll come up with some questions to ask, right? And it can be obviously about their career, right? Or do they have time to have personal lives with their career, etc. So it's a good way to like learn about careers that you may not actually know exist, because that was kind of my problem in school, was that I knew like 3 careers and I thought that was the only careers possible. So we're going to learn about a bunch of different options. And then in terms of organization, we've already started with that. We are going to do like a monthly organization check-in where you will actually look at your calendar for the next month and pick out the main time-consuming assignments that are coming up so that you know they're coming up. We're also going to do binder checks where I will look in your Avid binder and see that you're actually putting stuff in it. Now, if you're taking notes in a notebook, that's fine, right? But in your folders, in your binder, you should have all your assignments for your classes. So if you turn in for English, close reading number 1 or whatever, then when I go in your English folder, I should see that assignment in there, right? I know it seems like, oh, it's so many folders, do I really have to do it? Well, if you don't organize your Google Drive and you wait a year and you try to find something in it, good luck to you. You will never find it, right? You will never remember that you titled it close reading number 1, you know, or 1.02 or whatever. So we're doing this organization now so that should you need this material again, you can access it, right? Let's say you fail your class. You go to summer school for that class, or you take the class again next semester. Guess what? You can use all your same stuff, right? You can resubmit all those assignments. Well, if you can't find them in your Google Drive, then you're gonna have to do them again, right? So being organized is important. Worst case scenario, you never have to access it again, and then whatever, it's organized in a folder and it doesn't hurt you or help you in any way. Also organization, the Cornell notes kind of count as organization, right? You're gonna turn in 1 set of notes each week. A lot of people last semester felt that really helped them stay on track, because if you're taking notes in your class, that means, again, you can use those notes for most classes on tests, quizzes, assignments, right? It means that you're actually interacting with the lesson. I know for science, at least for my classes, if you have notes, you're allowed to retake exams and quizzes, right? Because you show that you actually are trying to learn the material. So the notes are going to be super important. And Cornell notes, we will talk more about how to do them, and we're going to do like a workshop with them where you bring Cornell notes and we interact with them and all that stuff. But for the very least points on that, write down something from the lesson, right? I know some people have already started doing the questions on the side and highlighting and underlining and all sorts of really great stuff. Push yourself to actually care about your notes. Even if you're only caring about 1 set of notes per week, that's good enough to start. Okay, that's pretty much all my ranting about Avid. Do you guys have any questions about the class that probably aren't just you questions, right? Questions that you think other people would probably also want to know. If you have your own personal question, obviously email me, right? And then we can address it. Bella says, nope. Yeah, and you might not have any questions right now. You might get questions as we go through the class, right? If you do, just email me. Hey, I can't find this. I don't know how to open this. You know, where do I learn how to do this? Blah, 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 blah. And I will help you with that. I will tell you guys our first Socratic seminar where we're going to have a very intense discussion is going to be about if NFL players should be able to protest during the national anthem. And we're going to be reading some articles about it. The first one that we read is really intense. Just the language in it. Like the vocab that this guy used was, oh yeah, controversy for sure. We're starting off, we're dipping our toes into controversy. We will get more controversial, right? Okay, so if you guys don't have any questions, then that's pretty much all for today. I am going to make sure I get a list here of everybody who attended, and I will mark you guys as here, and I will see you guys next Wednesday. What was I doing? There we go. I will see you guys next Wednesday at 2 p.m. Bye, guys.